Well, I was going to start with the hook, but then a notification popped by. Oh my goodness. What's going on here? Do you see
Hello, Ramon.
me? Okay, there, I got lost. Everything, when that notification went and I tried to get rid of it, then I couldn't hit the hook, and then it went to a different browser window, and I was confused. So, welcome everyone to the Five of Pentacles. This card is not as hopeless as one may think, especially when you draw it in the reverse position. Let's see what our hook is.
It's not even Ramon
Five
hates.
of Pentacles. Imagine standing in the cold, harsh wind, feeling completely alone and cut off from warmth and comfort. The Five of Pentacles in tarot captures this essence of struggle and hardship. It's a card that speaks of financial difficulty, emotional isolation, and physical ailment. But wait, look closely. Beyond the figures braving the snowstorm is a brightly lit church, a symbol of hope and refuge. The Five of Pentacles is a stark reminder that even in our darkest time, help is often closer than we think. It's a call to seek out support, to not let pride prevent us from asking for assistance, and to remember that perseverance can lead us back to the light. Join me as we delve deeper into the meaning of the Five of Pentacles and discover how this powerful card can guide us through the toughest challenges. I need to learn breath control. Maybe I need to take singing lessons, and then I can control my breath better. So, your thoughts about the Five of Pentacles?
Two things come to mind immediately when I think of the Five of Pentacles. One is it's weird. Oh yeah, okay, good. I got the confirmation from Ramon. He hates this card. Two things come to mind with this: the tithe that you give the church. In other words, like the
Right.
church, receives a tithe from people, and then they're out in the cold because they give that tithe, and then the Catholic Church is out in the cold right now. And the other thing that comes in, obviously, is the destitution and all the other stuff. But that sense of being alone as a result of not giving in, and I almost get a Hierophant feel to this card. I don't know if the Hierophant is a 5-2. I can't remember, but there's something really interesting about the interplay of those two cards if you were to see them in a reading, because of the church and the priesthood, and then the tithes, and then the people who are outlawed out in the cold. Hi, Michelle.
I put you on mute earlier because we're getting a little feedback from you.
Absolutely.
So just remember that we've got you on mute. Welcome. How are you this week?
Good. I wish it was Friday so it can go into the weekend again. But Sunday.
You want 2 weekends in a row.
We should have a 3-day weekend every weekend.
First opinions on the Five of Pentacles.
I just see negativity, hardship, almost like there's not even, it's not an amputee Does it have leprosy? Is it leprosy in the regular Rider-Waite?
Well, it's just bandaged
Oh, okay.
and injured people out in the cold. But what about if people get caught in this I'm lacking or I'm poor? I think sometimes that can be self-manifesting.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I hadn't ever looked at the card as something more inward than outward, meaning like circumstances that fall onto someone. But considering the Four of Pentacles is about holding on to something too tightly, and then the Six is about giving and receiving, you're probably right, because it's about the person and not the external circumstance. So I hadn't really, when I read it, I haven't really read it that way. But it makes perfect sense to say that it should be read that way, the way you're interpreting it. But I always
mean, it can be read many different ways. If you take our 20 different keywords upright, 20 different keywords reversed. So it's just the choice of what you make from the cards around it. If you want to put it in that always moving in the negativity and the lack of and so you can't manifest the lack instead of manifesting the abundance that you should be manifesting.
All abundance comes from what you don't have. And you know what I mean? What you do have, I mean, yeah.
And we're only put on the earth equally. Nobody's come out fully clothed yet, And then I've known many people at the end tear their clothes off because they're hot and uncomfortable, and
yet we treat each other. We have hierarchies and all these other things on Earth, like that Hierophant, and like that, five of whatever that isolate people, the Five of Pentacles, and it's just like we don't need to do that, because if we do what you said, Thomas, then we would be in a better position individually, but then we would also be in a better position collectively to have the things we do need, because we wouldn't be so fearful of what we do lack. And we wouldn't be coming from a place from the Four of Coins into the Five of Coins.
Welcome, Hershe. How are you?
I'm here, guys. I'm here. I will stay as long as I can.
Okay. Any first thoughts on the Five of Pentacles?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I don't always see it as a crisis first. Sometimes I see this card as the universe forcing change. Change has to come from within, and fairly feeding off of what Jeff was just saying. If you didn't figure it out in the Four, this is the universe proving that they're the ones that can throw you into the bottom of the well and force you to pull your way up. You just have to find something you couldn't find in that Four, but it's always within us. We don't think that in the Four. This is the way the universe, to me, proves we're the ones in control here. But like again, I see the Pentacles as a different mental mind frame, because I know a volcano can also wipe us out. That earth element can also guide us. So it's the same earth element. It's just what are you not seeing within yourself for you to have to go from such horrible place 4 to a lower, deeper, harder, crueler place in the 5?
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to the keywords.
Well,
Go ahead.
I wanted to wait for Hershe because she wanted to hear what what Jade had to say about the 5 of Earth and alternative forms of abundance, the illusion of lack, overlooked treasures. All is not as it seems, so this is a time to look again. A change in perception can bring into focus the results I sought, just in a different form than expected. I am called to move away from poverty consciousness and open my eyes to treasures before me that are suddenly illuminated. The illusion of wealth gives way to true abundance. There is no need to fear that the rug will be pulled out from under me. What we draw attention to grows, so I count my blessings and I realize I have far more than I thought. I have come far in my quest for building up what I need, and even more opportunities for experiencing abundance await. Hits on everything you guys are all saying about manifesting. But the poverty consciousness is about that book that I recommended to you, Richie, about the dynamic laws of prosperity, where it talks about we're taught that wanting money and being wealthy is wrong. Like, we're not supposed to want, and that is totally opposite. We are all deserving, and there's plenty of money in the world, and we have to it's all about attraction, and it's about a poverty consciousness. Absolutely. I think it's a state of mind. And don't get me wrong, there are many people who fall on hardships because of man-made world, right? I mean, so I'm definitely not trying to say that it's all in their head. People who are struggling to pay their rent, you know what I mean? Because it's hard times. This is more of the frame of mind, I guess. I just want to at least clarify that I'm not trying to say that, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But the 5 materials here, also in the Muse, says that the Muse spots her sleeping outside the gates of flow and abundance. She cried herself to sleep, believing that she hasn't been granted access to this entrance. She is dangerously close to the edge, wrapped in a little more than a tattered sheet of self-worth and memories of better days. She holds a tiny light of hope close to her as she sleeps, but it's so very dim that the Muse wonders if she can still see it at all. It certainly doesn't look bright enough to light her way into the hall. With a helping hand, she nudges the small creature to safety. The Muse knows that the entrance is closer than we think, and she wants all of us to enter the doorway with abundant well-being. She asks you to accept worthiness with an open heart and heal the rift between you and any wealth and health you desire but aren't experiencing today. You are never alone or forgotten. You are always welcome in the great hall of love. So it's all about I see it as your mental worthiness, thinking you're good enough, thinking you deserve, and it's okay to want wealth because then you share it. When you have it, you share it. And we have so much of it. It's not just in material things. It's looking, like Hershe said, a different perspective, looking at all around you, being grateful.
Well said. Okay, let's go on to our keywords. Keywords for the 5 of Pentacles upright: hardship, poverty, isolation, struggle, financial loss, illness, adversity, rejection, abandonment, insecurity, scarcity, exclusion, homelessness, unemployment, vulnerability, lack, deprivation, difficult times, suffering, and neglect. For the reverse 5 of Pentacles, the keywords are recovery, improvement, end of hardship, renewal, financial recovery, healing, hope, support, relief, reconnection, assistance, overcoming adversity, optimism, new opportunities, stability, reintegration, strength, positive change, upliftment, renewal of faith.
And you thought I had feedback.
We have a wash machine that when it goes unbalanced, it's like riding a buck and bull at the rodeo.
You
So
just sit on it. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Yes. Oh, you silly girl, silly girl. Yeah, when we have our Five of Pentacles reversed, we have some better keywords associated with it. On the more up and lightning end. But it's okay to have those upright Five of Pentacles moments to balance out other moments. It's just you don't want to get caught in the thought of the Five of Pentacles as being lack and constantly in lack. Let's see what the Suit of Pentacles has in store for us. The Suit of Pentacles, also known as coins, discs, or diamonds, is one of the 4 suits in the minor arcana of the tarot deck. The suit is associated with the element of earth, which brings its energies of stability, practicality, and material aspects of life. Pentacles are closely linked to financial matters, wealth, and material possessions. They reflect our relationships with money and our attitudes towards prosperity and abundance. Work and career. This suit often pertains to work and career and professional growth. It highlights the importance of hard work, dedication, and the pursuit of goals in the material world. Health and physical well-being. The earth element also governs physical health and well-being. Pentacle cards can indicate one's state of health or the need for a balanced lifestyle. Home and environment. Pentacles are connected to home life, real estate, and the environment. They emphasize the importance of creating a stable and nurturing environment. Practicality and realism. The suit encourages a practical, realistic approach to life. It underscores the importance of being grounded, making plans, and taking concrete steps to achieve goals. Symbolism and imagery. Earth element. Earth is stable, reliable, and fertile. It represents the physical world and the tangible aspects of life. Colors. The colors commonly associated with pentacles are green and brown, symbolizing growth, nature, and stability. Symbols. Pentacles often depict coins or discs, emphasizing material wealth. Other symbols include gardens, fields, and natural landscapes, representing growth and prosperity. The earth element brings a grounding and a stabilizing influence to the suit of pentacles. Overall, the suit of pentacles and its earth energy highlight the importance of nurturing our material and physical world through practical effort, patience, and grounded approach to life's challenges and opportunities.
Can I read something?
Yeah, let's get Michelle unmuted when she wants to talk.
That's okay. I was just showing the muse how she's wrapped herself. Yeah. She's just outside the door. It's her lack of self-worth, that she could just walk in. She's good enough.
So to me, this is, I know I briefly was talking about this, but to me, this is how powerful anxiety can actually be, right? This is when something rational gets twisted with anxiety in our brain, in my opinion, and it becomes irrational, right? You create a false fear of something, right? It's not necessarily present. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but for me, when I think about this card, the first thing I want to look at is the reality. What is above it, below it, and on both sides, right? When I look at the reality, not the ripple effect, the outer part, when I'm looking at the big picture, I'm looking at the immediate reality. If it's not showing an unstable reality, then I know it's that crazy emotion called anxiety that we create. Once you have proven that it is not reality, you must see this as your deepest fear. Pay close attention in your cards because there's no reason to look for chaos when you're simply looking at a reflection of your own making. I really know people struggle with this, but if they start seeing it as something they created, then they can start seeing how they can tear it down brick by brick, a wrecking ball, a tornado, a tower moment. They created it. They can destroy it. It's what the reality is that lets you know if it is something that's sent because you didn't learn it in the previous lesson, or because of the previous lesson, you have now built these walls around you, which is stopping your blessing and life. So you have to tear those walls down. This is about facing our own self again, standing in the mirror and reflecting back what we want the world to see, not necessarily what we created this demon in our head that now scares us to look at ourselves.
Yeah, Hershe's definitely right, because the 5 means stop, halt, and hold. So you have to look at you have to stop for a minute and look at what's real and what's not real, and what you've created versus what really is the situation and what you need to do to fix it. So with the numerology, it also makes sense too.
Absolutely.
As a 5 card. Yeah.
Right. It's only halfway. You know what I'm saying? This is the part where you don't see it as half empty. You now have to see it for what it is, and that's half full. So you still have the other half to fill if you want to retain all that you have gained so far. Otherwise, you're doomed to continuously repeat the cycle over and over and over again. But if you want to see it as half empty, then you've got even longer roads ahead of you, harder lessons. You're ultimately trying to illuminate your path, not darken it. So the faster you can see it as half full, the more the shine within you will glow for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we'll go into symbolism. Symbolism. The 5 of Pentacles is a tarot card that conveys themes of hardship, struggle, and adversity. Here's a detailed explanation of the symbolisms. Upright 5 of Pentacles. Imagery. The traditional imagery of the 5 of Pentacles often depicts 2 figures, typically a man and a woman, trudging through a snowstorm. They appear poor and destitute, with one figure usually on crutches or bandaged. Behind them is a church or a building with stained glass windows, illuminated from within, symbolizing spiritual sanctuary and help that is nearby but not yet noticed or accessed by the figures. The key symbolism: hardship and poverty. The figures, tattered clothing and visible suffering, symbolize material and financial difficulties. It reflects a time of scarcity, loss, or economic hardship. Isolation. The characters are outside in the cold, suggesting feelings of isolation, abandonment, or being left out in the cold, both literally and metaphorically. illness and suffering. The physical ailments depicted, such as the bandages or the crutches, represent not only physical health issues, but also emotional and spiritual suffering. Neglect. The illuminated church in the background symbolizes hope, help, and the support that is available but not yet recognized or utilized by those in need. It indicates that assistance is within reach, but the individuals are either too focused on their suffering or too proud to seek help. Spiritual and material struggles. The juxtaposition of the figures against the church highlights a disconnect between spiritual support and the material well-being. It may suggest a period where material concerns overshadow spiritual ones. Reverse Five of Pentacles. Key symbolism. Recovery. The reverse position often signifies an end to hardship and the beginning of recovery. It suggests that the period of struggle is coming to a close. Renewal and hope. There's a renewed sense of hope and optimism. The figures may begin to notice and access the help available to them, signifying a turn towards better circumstances. Improvement. Financial or material conditions may improve. It could also indicate recovery from illness or emotional distress. Support. The reverse cards emphasizes the importance of seeking and accepting help. It signifies that support is being acknowledged and utilized, leading to positive changes. Resilience. The card in its reverse positions can highlight the inner strength and resilience developed through facing adversity. It underscores the growth that comes from overcoming challenges. General interpretation. The Five of Pentacles serves as a reminder that the difficult times that everyone faces at some point, but it also emphasizes that support and help are often closer than they appear. Whether upright or reversed, this card encourages a focus on resilience. Let's see if that was the last recording of that night. Was I just so tired I couldn't get anything out?
I had an aha moment during that. I finally saw in the cards the wanting to ask, not wanting to ask for help, like it's there, but they think they're not worthy enough for the help, are too proud to ask for the help. And I've heard those keywords on this stuff, but I finally saw it in the card right now. I was like,
Yep. Someone's pride can keep them absolutely for asking the world for help, even
So
when everyone's.
They never were thrown out of the church then, right? They might have been too bashful to go in or too prideful, but they were never
they never felt worthy enough to go into the church. They didn't know that a church was for the broken down and the downtrodden, that
too embarrassed.
Too embarrassed, too embarrassed to face their own humanity, because we all are lacking. We can strive and strive and strive, but we always have the desire to better ourselves.
What's ruined it is because it's like all the people you see out on the street panhandling, where it's like there's so many organizations out there that will help them. They just have to comply to their rules, meaning they want to help them get on their feet, and they have to comply in order to commit to themselves. You know what I mean? So that's why I see them not choosing it. But I see it all the time where it's like, you're right here. There's a place, you're right outside the church, who will hand you food and money if you want to help yourself. And they decide not to, for whatever reason. And, that's what I'm seeing now on the card. It's not, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot.
They don't want to sit through. They don't want to arrive early enough to sit through mass to earn breakfast or lunch or whatever they're serving. That's the price you pay. You get a little churching along the way and shows you humility. Our numerology for 5. Let's go on to that one. The numerology of 5. In numerology, the number 5 represents a range of dynamic qualities and themes. Here are some key aspects associated with the number 5. Freedom. The number 5 is often linked to a strong desire for freedom and independence. Those influenced by this number crave adventure and new experiences. Adaptability. Flexibility and the ability to adapt change are hallmark traits of the number 5. This number is comfortable with change and often thrives in dynamic environments. Curiosity. A natural curiosity and a love for exploration are associated with the number 5. This number seeks to learn and experience as much as possible. Versatility. The number 5 is versatile and multi-talented. It can easily juggle various tasks and adapt to different situations. Restlessness. There can be a sense of restlessness and impatience with routine. Those influenced by the number 5 often seek variety and excitement. Adventure. A love for adventure and a willingness to take risks are important traits of the number. This number is often associated with travel, exploration, and trying new things. Social interaction. The number 5 is social and enjoys interacting with others. It often brings a lively and energetic presence to social situations. Resourcefulness. The number 5 is resourceful and can find solutions to problems in creative and unconventional ways. Sensuality. This number is also linked to the senses and sensuality, often seeking pleasure and enjoyment in physical experiences. Overall, the number 5 in numerology represents a vibrant, dynamic energy that embraces change, seeks freedom, and thrives on new experiences and adventures. So 5s are not always negative energies. They can be conflicted energies.
Reassessment energies.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Better word choice. Does anybody have anything they want to say about that before we go on to the zodiac and planetary zodiac association? Taurus, the 5 of Pentacles, is often associated with the zodiac sign of Taurus. Specifically, the first decan of Taurus, April 21st to April 30th. Taurus is an earth sign known for its stability, material concerns, and value of security and comfort. This association underscores the card's themes of financial and material hardships, as well as the stubbornness or persistence that might be required to overcome such difficulties. Planetary association. Mercury. The planetary association for the 5 of Pentacles is Mercury. Mercury governs communication, perception, and travel, highlighting the potential for misunderstandings, miscommunications, or logistical issues that could lead to or exacerbate the struggles represented by this card. Additionally, Mercury's influence can point to the importance of mental agility and adaptability in navigating difficult times. Elemental association, Earth. The element associated with the 5 of Pentacles is Earth. Earth represents the material world, physical health, and practical concerns, which aligns with the card's focus on financial loss, physical illness, and tangible hardship. The element of Earth also emphasizes themes of stability, resilience, and the need to remain grounded during times of adversity. These associations help to enrich the interpretation of the Five of Pentacles, providing additional layers of meaning that connect the card's imagery and the themes to broader astrological and elemental principles. And Hershe, I interrupted you as you were about to come to the mic.
I don't know. I don't
Lost
know.
it.
About the
I don't
numerology?
Yeah,
No, I
maybe
think it
about the
was.
numerology.
No, I don't. When you said the planetary alignment, I think I was gonna ask you if this was Mercury in Taurus, like very specific. Like to me, like I know that sounds crazy, and I don't understand astrology very well or astronomy, guys. But I do kind of understand numerology and the placement for me. I kind of smack put it in a Mercury in Taurus. I don't know why, but for me, I definitely put it in a Mercury.
Well, Mercury suggests that you want a quickness for resolution. You don't want to stay in that poverty or
Yes.
lacking
And that's how I like
situation.
to see it. Exactly. Something quick moving. Yes. Let's not linger here. I don't need no nostalgia. I don't need no reminders. I need to just get what I need, not what I want. So to me, I like to keep it in a quicker pace, and I set it kind of in a Mercury and Taurus kind of energy.
That's nice how they did align with that. Then you're, even though you say that you don't have astrology, you think about the movement of the planets of what you know.
I do. I do. Yes. And how it fit my life. And I just try to say it so that it resonates and it could be understood. I don't always know how to say it, the proper terms.
You do well. You make sure we figure it out. Let's go on to our yes and no. Yes or no. Upright, Five of Pentacles. No. When the Five of Pentacles appears upright in a yes-no reading, it generally signifies a no answer. The card represents hardship, struggle, and adversity, indicating that the current circumstances are challenging and unlikely to yield positive outcomes at this time. It suggests that now might not be the best time to proceed with plans or expect favorable results. The reverse Five of Pentacles. Yes, with caution. When the Five of Pentacles appears reversed in a yes-no reading, it leans more towards the yes, but with caution. The reversal indicates recovery, improvement, and the end of hardship. It suggests that the worst is over and positive changes are on the horizon. However, it also emphasizes the need for careful consideration and taking practical steps to ensure sustained progress and stability. While the answer is more positive, it still advises prudence and awareness of potential risks. These interpretations can provide guidance in decision making, reflecting the broader themes of the Five of Pentacles in different contexts.
This is why I struggle with tarot as yawns. I would never see this as a yes. Oh wow. Wow.
Well,
Yes,
that
you're
was the
moving
reverse.
forward, but not something I want to bet on, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I don't know.
just for a binary yes or no, or maybe I guess trinary, um, without a pendulum or dowsing or some other yes no oracle. Um, that's what this divination system, the RWS, Rider Waite.
It would be a no card. You're saying the reverse was yes. It's a no.
The Five of Pentacles upright is a no, and when it's reversed, it's a yes. I mean, it would tend that yes with caution, because you don't want to dwell in that state of lack. You want to move on from it.
I don't like no part of the quicksand. Sorry. I don't know if I could ever see this as a yes, but that's just me. That's just me. Y'all you don't have to understand my logic in it. You just have to find your own. But even in this gorgeous way, I see this, the hand that's catching the fives. You don't see the hand moving. You don't see no movement in this. You see the stars fall where they may, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's literally that essence of what is meant for you will find you. You don't have to worry about finding it. It will find you if it's meant. So even as beautiful as that looks without the movement, everything's going to literally fall through their fingers if they don't have that follow through action. So, boy, this is a double-sided card, if ever.
Well, it's one of those cards that sort of hedges the fence row. It's either it's black and white, whether you see it as good or bad. There is no coloring it differently. You see it as you see it. And if you haven't got your journals out and your artistic supplies or whatever, go ahead and get those out while we listen to the affirmations, because the story will be after that. An affirmation for the Five of Pentacles upright. Even in times of hardship, I am open to receiving support and assistance. I acknowledge my struggles with grace and resilience, knowing that this challenging period is temporary. I trust that there is hope and healing on the horizon, and I am learning and growing through these difficulties. I embrace the strength within me to navigate through this phase with courage and faith. An affirmation for the reverse Five of Pentacles. I am emerging from a period of struggle and embracing new opportunities for growth and renewal. I acknowledge support and resources available to me and welcome positive change into my life. I am grateful for the lessons learned and the strength gained through past hardships. I am open to a future filled with stability, hope, and prosperity. So can you relate with either of the affirmations? At least the card's energies. And we'll start with our story. So you got 8.5 minutes, it looks like. The Five of Pentacles upright. The cold wind cut through the narrow alleyways of the old city, bringing with it the stinging reminder of winter's cruelty. Snow lay in thick, dirty patches on the cobblestones, trodden down by the endless footsteps of the city's inhabitants. Among them were Timothy and Eliza, two figures huddled together, trying to find warmth in each other's company. Timothy was a man in his late 30s, once full of ambition and hope. His tall frame now stooped under the weight of life's burdens, and his eyes, once bright with dreams, were dimmed by the relentless hardships. Eliza, his young daughter, clung to his side, her small hands red and raw from the cold. Her coat, several sizes too big, was patched in numerous places, a testament to their struggle. The two moved slowly through the streets, their destination unclear. They passed by bustling market, where vendors shouted and the aroma of fresh bread and roasted meat filled the air. The scents were a cruel reminder of their hunger and Eliza's stomach growled loudly. Timothy squeezed her hand, trying to provide comfort, though he had none to give. As they wandered, they came upon a grand cathedral, its tall spires piercing the gray sky. The warm glow of candlelight and the sound of hymns drifted out from its open doors. It was a place of solace and hope for many, but for Timothy and Eliza, it felt like a fortress, keeping them out with its walls of stone and silence. Timothy paused, looking up at the stained glass windows depicting saints and angels. He wondered if their prayers reached only those figures that were holy, or if they were destined to remain unheard, like the many others who passed by without a second glance. Eliza tugged at his sleeve, her eyes wide with curiosity and "Papa, can we go inside?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Timothy shook his head, the bitterness of pride and shame welling up inside him. "No, my dear, we don't belong there," he replied softly. They continued their journey, seeking refuge in the shadows of the alleyways. The night was drawing in, and the cold grew harsher. Timothy's mind raced with thoughts of how to survive another night. They had no money, no shelter, and their few possessions offered little comfort. He felt the weight of failure pressing down upon him, each step a reminder of his inability to provide for his young daughter. As they walked, they came across a small, dilapidated building with a sign that read, "Shelter." The windows were boarded up, and the door hung loosely on its hinges. It was far from ideal, but it was the only option they had. Timothy led Eliza inside, the musty smell of decay greeting them. Inside, the room was filled with others who shared their plight. Faces gaunt and eyes hollow, each person carried their own story of loss and despair. Timothy found a corner where they could rest, wrapping his arms around Eliza to keep her warm. She nestled into his embrace, her eyes closing as exhaustion took over. As Timothy sat in the darkness, he felt a profound sense of isolation. Despite being surrounded by others, he felt utterly alone in his struggle. The weight of his responsibilities and the fear of an uncertain future gnawed at his spirit. He looked down at Eliza, her peaceful face a stark contrast to the turmoil in his heart. In the silence of the night, Timothy whispered a prayer, not to the saints or the angels depicted in the cathedral's stained glass, but to the cold, uncaring sky. He prayed for strength, for a miracle, for anything that could lift them out of their misery, and as he held his daughter close, he hoped against hope that the dawn would bring a better day. Part 2, the Five of Pentacles reversed. Morning light filtered through the gaps in the boarded-up windows of the shelter, casting a soft glow over the huddled figures within. Timothy awoke to the gentle warmth, a stark contrast to the biting cold of the previous night. He looked down at Eliza, still asleep in his arms, her face serene despite their hardships. Slowly, the shelter began to stir with the sounds of life. People stretched and yawned, shaking off the remnants of their restless sleep. Timothy carefully extricated himself from Eliza's grasp and stood, his joints protesting the movement. He looked around, seeing the familiar faces of those who had struggled and shared their plight. But today, there was something different in the air, an unspoken hope that perhaps things could change. Eliza awoke and rubbed her eyes, looking up at her father with a sleepy smile. "Good morning, Papa," she said, her voice bright despite their circumstances. "Good morning, my dear," Timothy replied, his heart lifted by her resilience. "Let's see what the day has in store for us." They left the shelter and stepped into the city, the sun shining brightly in the clear blue sky. As they walked through the streets, Timothy noticed small acts of kindness that had gone unseen before. A shopkeeper handed out free bread to those in need. A passerby offered a warm coat to a shivering child. In the street, musician played a cheerful tune, bringing smiles to weary faces. These simple gestures sparked a glimmer of hope within Timothy. He realized that even in the darkest of times, there was light to be found. They made their way to the market, where the same vendor had seemed indifferent before now greeted them with a warm smile and a loaf of bread. Timothy thanked him profusely, the warmth of the bread in his hands a tangible reminder of kindness. As they continued their journey, they came across a community center with a sign that read, "Help for those in need." Timothy hesitated for a moment, then pushed open the door. Inside, they found a bustling hub of activity. Volunteers sorted donations, prepared meals, and offered assistance to anyone who walked through the door. A kind-faced woman approached them, her eyes full of compassion. "Welcome," she said. "How can we help you today?" Timothy explained their situation, and the woman nodded understandingly. "We can provide you with food, clothing, and temporary shelter," she said, "and we have resources to help get you back on your feet." For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Timothy felt a sense of relief wash over him. He thanked the woman, and she led him to a small, clean room where they could rest. Eliza immediately began exploring their new space, her laughter filling the air. Timothy watched her, a smile tugging at his lips. Days turned into weeks, and with the support of the community center, Timothy found a part-time job that provided enough to cover their basic needs. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The kindness of strangers had rekindled his spirit, and he found himself looking forward to the future with a sense of optimism he hadn't felt in years. One crisp autumn afternoon, as Timothy and Eliza walked through the park, he felt a deep gratitude for the journey they had endured. The struggles they had faced had not broken them. Instead, they had emerged stronger, more resilient, and filled with a newfound appreciation for the small blessings of life. They passed by the grand cathedral once more, its stained glass windows glistening in the sunlight. This time, Timothy didn't feel the pang of exclusion. Instead, he felt a sense of belonging, knowing that the strength they had found within themselves and the support of their community had brought them through the darkest of times. As they stood there, Timothy whispered a prayer of thanks to the sky, not for miracles, but for simple acts of kindness and the resilience that had carried them through. He looked down at Eliza, who smiled up at him, her eyes filled with hope. "We've made it, Papa," she said softly. "Yes, my dear," Timothy replied, his heart full. "We have." So part of that was what you were saying earlier, Michelle, that be grateful for the things that you have and not concentrate on the non-abundance of it.
And your self-worth. In the beginning, he didn't feel like they were worthy enough to go in, but you are.
Right.
You are worthy enough.
And again, this is a 5, and it does align with Hierophant energy. So we've got the Pope, and then the church acting as maybe the Pope localized. His part of his Catholic dominion is there in that. And Jeff.
Yep.
Do you want to grace us with poetry, or do you want to save it for the next book?
Nope, I want to grace it with you, but I wanted to get into a space where I could be heard, because the dogs are a bit loud. So let me bring this on. I wrote it today on my keyboard. On my laptop. So let me just put my camera off for a second. Always by his side was his pride. His need for assistance to make it out of the endless winter was overwritten by his fear he may have to decide to listen to the inner voice that he once felt betrayed his faith. But out in the cold for another night, he couldn't stay. Conditioned not to ask, he was given no incentive but to repeat his past. And suddenly the fear of not having a bed of his own and owing somebody left him fearing being beholden to the words he did not want to hear spoken. He was in no position to make promises, but he scoffed at their offers and withered away another winter, purple from the frostbitten world. Here he was again, alone and bitter. A suspension of disbelief sometimes takes more than a leap of faith. When we're human, we're confined by our own lack to see the way back.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Jeff.
I like it. It was wonderful.
I like it.
I loved it too. And it wasn't dirty either. Some people don't like dirty.
Oh man, now I want the dirty version.
Well, this is the wrong room. We like it. I will highly influence that.
Anything? Right. Anyone having anything to sum up our card of the day, the Five of Pentacles, with? Before
I did something in the homework.
Oh, what you did.
So the artwork probably won't make any sense, but there's a stairway here of a tower that if you naturally climb it, you will gain as you grow, right? But instead, they're more focused on the quick dollar, and there's a hand right here that you can't really see, but I drew my hand like reaching for this instead of looking for the door to this to gain it in a sacred environment, right? And then so picture it's a hand, right? Along the way, on the worst of days, I gathered this and that, putting it all in a sack. With every gain, I increased the pain. I was covered with a stain. Standing before myself, I didn't see me through the plane. I saw heavy, lost images of what I gathered and wanted along the way. Every time I dropped an item, the reflection changed, only to find the need was there every step along the stay.
Wow. We have poets great among us. Michelle?
Love it. I did not write any poetry.
Me either. I'm a good example, aren't I? You know, teaching everybody how to journal and not journaling myself. But it does get updated as I'm doing my research for the episode. Okay, everybody. Thank you for being here. We're going to go out with a summary video, but remember, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. Go out and make it a great day. Bye, everyone. Five of Pentacles summary. The Five of Pentacles is a tarot card that symbolizes hardship, struggle, and financial or material difficulties. It often depicts two figures, usually impoverished and in distress, navigating through a harsh environment, symbolizing the challenges of poverty, illness, or exclusion. The card highlights themes of isolation, insecurity, and the feeling that being left out in the cold, both materially and emotionally. Despite the challenging imagery, the Five of Pentacles also carries a message of hope and the importance of seeking support. The illuminated church or the building in the background represents the help and spiritual support that is available, though not immediately recognized or accessed. It encourages resilience, reminds us of the importance of community and support, and suggests that although times are tough, relief and recovery are possible. In the reverse position, the Five of Pentacles signifies the end of a difficult period and the beginning of recovery. It emphasizes the importance of recognizing and accepting help, indicating that improvement and positive changes are on the horizon. This position often brings a message of renewed hope, financial or emotional healing, and the potential for overcoming adversity. Okay, bye everyone.